What's going on, savages? Welcome to another episode of the Savage Snowflake podcast with me, Jeff Leach. How on earth are you doing? It's you, my lovely listener or viewer, if you're watching on YouTube. Thanks very much for all the support we've been getting across the board on patreon.com/savagesnowflake. If you want to donate as little as $1 a month, you can do that to keep this bad boy going. And thank you very much to my sponsors as well. Boundless Tech over here, the finest purveyors of technology for vaping. If you want to smoke flower, herb or resin and you want to do it without all those nasty carcinogens, check out bndlstech.com and put in code SAVAGE for 25% off. And of course, manscaped.com over there in the other corner are wonderful purveyors of trimming wear for the gentleman who might be a little bit more hirsute. Your lady's going to thank you. Your balls will thank you. SkinSafe Technology. You'll never nick your nuts. Check out manscaped.com. Use code SAVAGE for 20% off, a free travel bag, and free shipping. Joining me today is a writer, director, and stand-up comedian. And I'm assuming you've done some acting as well, probably.
Yeah.
Mr. Neal Brennan. How are you, sir?
Yes, thank you, everybody.
We
acted together.
Oh, that's true.
Right? I directed it, but I was also acting.
That's technically correct.
I was laughing just now, if anyone's watching this, because it's so funny to just be having a conversation and then someone's like, and welcome to the Savage Show. Like, I'm just like, what the fuck? We were just
I went
two
into radio
people
voice.
here. Yeah, now you have sponsors all of a sudden. It's very exciting.
Yeah, there you go. It's like a real thing.
Yeah.
And we're coming directly out of your home. You got to explain this first of all, because
that's a prop from a thing I directed. It was a looks
like
pinata. It looks like you motherfucker. It was a pinata of George Washington.
You a fan of artwork? I see your home is decorated from top to bottom with various pieces of artwork.
I like, I'm a man of
refined taste,
refinement and taste. Although you're the one who said hirsute in a fucking thing about
that's because I'm British. We're educated
ball waxing
to understand
or ball shaving.
That kind of verbose eloquence.
Don't you dare accuse me of being highfalutin.
I didn't say you were highfalutin. I just said you had a
no. I think I am highfalutin, but I'm culture. I'm a refined man. It's called refinement.
Does that refinement come from childhood?
No, it comes from being it comes from being culturally aware and adept, and also just liking certain stuff. I like nice things. Although I don't it may seem like I like nice things. I mostly like the first floor. My house is very cluttered.
Right.
Make no mistake.
It's reasonably tidy actually.
Yeah, but I just got rid of a bunch of shit.
Okay.
3 days ago.
Okay.
So
I don't think it's like the highfalutin, highbrow thing, but there is a certain point that in any man or woman's life, when you maybe either come into a little bit of money or when you start hanging out with a different social circle, where you start going, all of a sudden I like wine tasting now.
Oh, that's no, I don't. The thing about me is I had no money for a while, but I went to film school at NYU, which is like snobbery and pretension central. So
yeah.
Like that taught me how to be I was always kind of a snob, and then that made me like more of a taste bully. I actually don't shame people for their taste, but I there's a thing in hip hop where look at like especially Kanye and people like that will say like my taste level is insane. It's just like, all right. It's not something I pride myself on. It's something I'm aware of, and as a director, you're constantly going like, I like that, I don't like that, don't do that, that's good, why don't I like that? What does that signal to people? So
also you've got to have an eye for for beautiful things once you start directing as well. I mean, as a
or like just
stand up, we have to have an eye for evil, disgusting things within ourselves.
Right,
maybe.
But you also have to have an eye for how to say it.
Right.
So it's not like there aren't too many guys that like. There are guys that will make a really good point, but they're dumb.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like a dumb person can notice something, and you're like, if that was in slightly more tasteful hands, that would be such a great bit.
What you're saying is every joke sounds better in a British accent.
I think that's what we're all saying. I think that's what it's all leading to. No, but you know what I mean.
I'm a complete moron, but by American
that accent,
standards, with the accent,
it's like,
I
what
sound
is happening?
Quite eloquent, yeah.
So that you do have to say it well, and as a director, you have to sort of sell yourself on aesthetic mystery and superiority.
But then you also have to maintain an element that, you're not letting your entire life be taken over by the art that you're creating. Like David Chapelle, I'm assuming, even though he's highly stylized images, I'm assuming his house might not be that gaudy and
flamboyant. It's not
flamboyant.
that gaudy, but it wouldn't surprise me if it kind of was. Meaning, you kind of...
Meaning Amanda Lepore walks around with her titties out in his home, just...
Yeah,
again, you want some eggs?
I don't... You're dropping deep model bits right now. I don't know who Amanda Lepore is, but...
That's the muse of Dave Chapelle.
Oh, I didn't even know
she's
that.
She's a trans woman who's got like huge fake boobies and the big blown out lips, and she's like his muse. She's in a lot of his photos.
Okay, but I wouldn't be surprised because once you get
off the
I don't think he wants to go. I bet it's. I heard somebody say something yesterday, which is eventually the mask eats the face. In reference to just like a John Updike quote or something.
But in terms of like once you have a public profile,
you have a persona, and then you're like you kind of just become that.
Wouldn't that be so tiring?
Yeah.
Completely losing the sense of self.
Most people who get famous lose their minds in some small way.
We've had good conversations, brief but good conversations about not losing yourself, but also about not getting too caught up in what's going on in the industry. I know that we did a show. You do a monthly show down at
weekly.
Weekly now. Yeah. Sorry, apologies.
I'm going to sponsor the podcast next week.
Yeah, okay, so I can plug it. Thanks. Yeah, we can do with the money actually.
I need a bug on the upper left.
I've seen the amount of artwork in here. You can afford to sponsor the podcast. It's all right. And there I went up and did some new material one day, and part of it was kind of shitting on the what I felt was like an overabundance of average comedy specials.
Yes.
And you sat me down after and you were like, "Listen, mate.
Yeah.
Don't do that."
Yeah. Because it makes you look petty and silly, and as I don't know if I referenced this, but Chris Rock told me one time that Eddie Murphy's manager said anytime someone criticizes someone who's doing better than them, it's jealousy.
Yeah.
So it's just born out of you. I'm
100%
it's not
absolutely
an abstract,
jealous of people who have specials.
Objective observation that just came to you. It's born out of they have something you want. Yeah, born out they have something you want, and you think, and it feels bad.
So where's the space for artists to criticize
a journal? A journal, honestly.
Come on, I imagine back in the.
But why do you? I had this conversation with Andy Kindler the other night, who specifically that's his like MO is he goes after people.
Sure.
And
which, by the way, if you see my stand-up, that's not my.
No, I know it's not.
Main
I don't think
material,
it is. Andy goes after people, and The Hangover. He said he took like a jujitsu class because he was afraid someone was going to come after him. It's like, really? I don't want to write jokes that require me to take
that's a lot of dedication to being an arsehole, isn't it? I like that.
It's like, well, you could stop doing it or you have to take jujitsu classes.
Be a black belt in jujitsu.
Yeah. So like,
who's he going after? Joe Rogan?
Whatever. So I don't even know if it was about someone specific, but it was like, I personally, like, I made a video a couple weeks ago about the way they write men on the show Girls and Shrill and all these things, like these young women shows.
Right.
And then I posted it and I took it down because I was like, I don't want Lena Dunham mad. I don't want the people. I just don't want to hurt people's feelings with like a small observation. Like, it's just bad form to like criticize a fellow artist unless they're
asking for your constructive criticism, obviously.
Yeah, if they specifically ask you, but I never got in on like the Dane sweepstakes and whoever the Carrot Top or Carlos, like Carlos was a joke thief, so that's like that's a
within our community, that's rule number
felony.
Don't fucking take our
that's
jokes,
a felony. So like, but I don't think So I'm not a big. It doesn't. It just doesn't serve you long term.
Yeah.
You're never gonna be glad you did it.
Yeah.
You're never gonna be like, man, because you have to see these people, and you're gonna tense up when you do. Even if you're like the.
Well, even if you're not gonna tense up when you see them, because I think that comes from a different set of fears or insecurities. But I think even if you're comfortable saying those things about people's art, and then if you see them going, hey, I stand by what I said and this is what I think of that particular
right, but so tell them.
But what will also happen is you're correct, they will never, it's not going to do you any favors in the long term because people talk, and it's a small community, and
people have long memories, and there's no point in like, and there's also this thing of like public shaming people on Twitter, and it's like, I got their email.
Yeah.
You want it? just email. I'll give you their email address. If you have a real criticism, is this about signaling? This seems like it's about signaling. If you go forward like you're a fucking embassy, and go like, from the desk. Fuck out of here.
Now, what about people who are in more positions of power within our industry, of which there are, considerable amounts, or let's say someone who, given a positioning within
they're not government agents.
I understand that. What I was going to say is people within social climate are kind of at the top of the pile right now. What about those people taking on? We've discussed this, but I'm a liberal, left-leaning, politically minded individual who believes in progressive society and equality of all people. Those are things you can take as fact.
Yes.
But I also like to let comics who might be on the right-hand side have a voice and have their comedy and do that kind of stuff. When maybe a more liberal, well-established comedian shits on or goes after one of those kind of comics,
who I can't think of an example.
Oh, I mean, the other day, Patton Oswalt and Chad Zummock had a, and obviously they're vastly different positions within the industry. Patton Oswalt is a household name and, immensely famous.
Right.
And Chad Zummock or Zummock, I'm not quite sure how to pronounce his name. He isn't. And they had a spat on Twitter. And I certainly saw a lot of hatred aimed towards.
But who
Chad from like a
started
liberal.
it?
Who started it? I mean, that's like a playground.
No,
response,
it's not.
Isn't it?
It's the law.
But by what we've
they don't go, well, you fought. Doesn't matter who punched it. The law, like cops want to know who started what.
Not in America, they don't.
Yeah, they do.
No, they don't.
Sure,
they
do.
That's why I got arrested in New York. They don't care who punched first. They just cared who came off worse. And
okay, well then you're playing their game.
Yeah,
and you would say that that's wrong. My guess is that Patton didn't start going after looking for people.
Yeah, probably not.
That's my guess.
No, you're probably right.
Yeah.
But should he, take the standpoint of just going, all right, I'll just ignore this guy. He means nothing to me.
Oh, I don't know. I don't. If people come after me, I'm gonna return fire. Like right. I'm not like a pacifist in terms of. I'm just saying if you're
Twitter beef.
Yeah, like if you're. I'm just saying it doesn't serve you well to shit on somebody else's art. It just doesn't. Like it's just never.
Well, the more time you spend doing that, the less time you're spending on your.
Yeah, it's Joe Rogan said something. You think Michael Jordan never writes YouTube comments?
No, of course not.
Like,
yeah,
of course not. So I don't. I try not to get caught up. But if somebody says something rude or fucked up, then I will retaliate.
One person I have to mention him because I'm friends with him as well, and your relationship is so intriguing to me. But your brother Kevin, who's also in comedy, there's one person who you guys see, or he is always going after you, always making.
I don't respond.
Yeah, you don't acknowledge it whatsoever, nope. And you just go.
I don't even like talking about it. I don't even like hearing about it. Honestly,
are you?
There's no.
I don't want you to cut this short. I don't want to talk about something you don't want to talk about.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about it.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, there's no for what.
Well, I just want to know how a relationship that's so personal
then text
breaks
me and
down.
ask me.
Okay, all right.
If you really want to know, then text me and ask me. If you want to make, if you want to be a gossip column, then that's a whole other thing.
I just think it's an interesting conversation. The fact that you both ended up in the same industry and would have to go through similar, personal trials and tribulations growing up in the same family. But then to come out of that and have a disconnect.
Do you think that I'm somehow going to go like, well, now that you can contextualize it, I'm not going to talk about it.
Okay. Right,
well.
Fair enough.
I'm an adult man. Go ahead.
Were your family funny? Was there a birth of comedy from childhood?
Yeah, Kevin's funny as shit. My brother Tommy's funny. There's like a level of like 10 kids is like a chaotic situation to grow up. So there's like a gallows humor that just is automatic.
And I imagine you also have to make your mark somehow, amongst all those voices.
You gotta make your mark.
Yeah. No, but really,
being funny helps when you're
you're
at a huge dinner. Like, of course, it helps. So, excuse me.
And is this also, like the Irish are famed for being
alcoholics. And I think my dad's side were immensely funny. My dad's side, his brothers were pretty funny. So, and his dad. So, like it's fairly in us, I think.
Yeah. I think it's is there an element of your personal success as well that comes out of having to make your mark and be noticed amongst from
I would assume
from childhood.
They never tell you.
No, but you can look back on it and reflect on what it was like.
You never get like, hey, like,
this is the reason you've done well.
We've gone over your file. Yeah, I mean, I think I was also the youngest, so I was a bit of like a protected species. Like I was a bit of like the youngest gets a lot of attention, like just by force, like you're the youngest, cutest, smallest, and you always feel like that you're not the center of attention, but you get a kind of attention that other ones don't get. Like you just do.
Yeah.
So that's another thing I was not aware of. Like, well, how do I continue this? Like,
no,
but
sure,
I was always pretty funny. I was always pretty funny, and then I was able via Kevin was able to get in. Like, went to NYU for film school. Started working the door to comedy club, and saw people like him and Attell and Louis and those guys, Marin, making a living being comics. So it was like, oh, this is like a thing you can do.
Yeah.
So then I started writing largely with Chapelle.
Well, of course, yeah. You were right on the Chapelle show. You're the lead writer on that show.
Yeah.
Right?
But I met him in 1991.
If I had to aesthetically put two men next to each other as good friends and colleagues, you and Dave Chapelle would not be it.
You'd be.
No, I'm not being honest. I'm just saying aesthetically. Purely
aesthetically,
based on
we have very similar shaped heads. Somebody said one time, you and Dave look alike, and she wasn't wrong in that huge ears, round head. His head's smaller than mine.
She sounds incredibly progressive. She must be that colorblind that she was like, well.
Yes, of course. She's what we all strive to be.
Yeah.
So yeah, but we have similar heads. And now we both exercise. Him a bit more than me, but
what was the birth of that friendship? When was the moment where you going, oh, I think I'm going to work with this guy?
Being snobs.
Really?
Like we were both 18, and we both had. We would talk about. He was a comic, and I was going to school and working the door, and so we just talk about movies or people's acts or just type clothes, whatever, just shit of being like,
and also being a white voice on what was a very black show, you know, and
right. But this is 12 years before that we were friends. Like so.
Oh sure, no, but I'm talking about the Chapelle show.
Yeah. There was no white voice. I mean, there was no white voice versus black voice on the show. Sure. Like there was no like, all right, so you'll white voice it now. Okay, we need some white voice in this. Like. But we were just friends.
There's something quite good about having, all right, I'm going to have at least different perspectives around that writer's room table.
It was me and him. There was no writer's room.
Oh, no, I mean in general.
Yeah. But that wasn't, again, it wasn't premeditated. We wrote half-baked together. Like, we wrote jokes together in, like, 1993. It wasn't like, and they weren't racially based per se. They were more just like structural stuff or ideas. But they weren't especially racial.
He wasn't going, hey.
No,
Neal,
he wasn't like
Neal,
looking for like a white. No, he wasn't. First of all, he wasn't like going like, I need someone to punch me up. Like it was all unsolicited, but I was able to like, I did it well a few times that like, where I had like added a tag here or there but again, it wasn't racial. It was just like, man, you're funny, I'm funny. Like it wasn't.
Sure.
One of the jokes was racial.
Well, your interaction wouldn't have been based on any kind of racial expectations, but certainly from an audience perspective, you know, I think he would have had a huge black demographic that would have watched that show at the time, and a huge white demographic.
Yeah. But I don't. But
a lot of them might have been surprised to be like, oh wow, this Neal Brennan guy. He's a white dude.
Yes, but that's the thing. It's like there were those people, but there were also. It was, it's an aesthetic thing. It really wasn't, it wasn't like a racial aesthetic thing. It was like, it was more about artistic aesthetic than racial aesthetic, in my opinion.
Those matched up, obviously. So
yeah, well, that's how we matched up when we were kids, like when we were 18, like we would talk about movie, and it wasn't like black movie, white movie. That was part of it, but it was more about like that person's a hack. That's not hack. Like Like it was about that movie, that performer, so it wasn't necessarily about race.
Once you start to enjoy success, and I'm assuming
I haven't enjoyed it one bit. Go ahead. I have it. I'm successful.
All right. Once you start to benefit from the trappings and notoriety of success, how about that?
Yes.
I feel like there's a bit of societal pressure and also industry pressure put on you to say, okay, you need to turn out a good bit of content every year, whether that be a special or a new show or writing.
I've never subscribed to that.
Yeah.
Meaning, I got hot in show business in 1997 when me and Dave wrote Half Baked. Half Baked didn't do well, so the heat was sort of then gone from, it was on
went down to
high torch to like low, like barely a simmer, like where you go like, am I gonna explode my kitchen?
That's when the really good food cooks, though.
Well,
you just got to
give
it
wrong.
A few hours.
Yeah, but that's the. So I wrote a script in '99, maybe. Then I sold a script by myself in '99, and I think in 2000, not by myself, with Mike Schur, who is a writer friend of mine, and he went on to create Parks and Rec and Brooklyn Nine-Nine and Good Place and wrote for The Office. Really good, talented guy. Yeah. But I never really I'm signing deals and I'm going to do this and I'm attaching myself to that. Like even when Chappelle Show got hot, I was like, a lot of the additional stuff you get is not good. They have a mediocre thing that they want you to make good. So if you get a Marvel movie, you'll probably get the script will be pretty good. It's pretty well. But like the reason Judd is the biggest producer in comedy is because he can write comedy.
Right, yeah.
If they come to you, if a studio comes to you and says, we have an idea, they're a studio. They're not fucking funny. Like their idea is not going to be good.
Well, that's the same with corporate clients for commercials.
Yeah, like it's not like so. I while I have issues with my own artistic output in terms of speed, like I see guys write an hour every year, and I'm like, I can't do that.
Yeah,
I literally cannot do that.
What about here's my thing though. I think if you're a multifaceted performer, then it is difficult to do that hour every year. But then on the same,
I think
thing,
Louis,
just
Bird,
do stand-up,
Aziz, those guys did it while doing other things. So I don't. Now, having said that, I think some of their hours were better than others.
Sure.
So. I won't give. I think you're getting ready to say that. Well, certain people, I think your metabolism is your metabolism. Your output's your output. I think you can increase it maybe 10-15%, but in terms of like seeing a thing or having a thought or, if thoughts come to me at a certain pace from age 25 to 35, they're probably not going to change between 35 and 45.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, again, they might increase a little bit or decrease a little bit, but I don't think you can really supercharge yourself.
But
the hard part is
is
accepting that in yourself, because it's hard, because it to your earlier point, it is embarrassing.
Accepting your limitations.
Yeah. It's embarrassing when someone's writing faster than you.
Sure.
It's just fucking embarrassing.
Yeah.
And there's always somebody, no matter how fast you're writing. They're like, well, if Chris was here today, whatever. And you kind of can't worry about it. It's like playing golf, or it's like you just got to play the course and you can't play.
Well, there's an element of prioritizing as well, because I think once what I was actually going to ask is, once you've garnered success as a stand-up and you're established there, I do think that people go, well, I want a new hour each year. Having had that formula,
the comedian. No, I don't think the audience knows how much time has passed. My experience has been
now with streaming services and with companies like Netflix and Amazon and Showtime, etc., putting all their stuff, and Hulu putting it all online. You're correct, because people might discover your latest special,
but they also don't know
a week before you put out your new one, whereas someone else might have seen it 2 years prior.
Yeah, I think in the days of television that might have been true, and even then it wasn't. But, Dave released a special in 2000 and then another one in 2004. Like, people weren't like...
And then he took 10 years out, didn't he, from the live...
Yeah, but that was a whole other issue. And then he did 4. So, Chris did Bring the Pain, then he did Bigger and Blacker, like about 2 years apart. And then he waited. Like people don't know when. People think Three Mics just came out, more or less. You know what I mean? It came out. Even I'm like, did it just come out? It came out over 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Then I had a half hour in New Year. I don't think people are like, where is it? I think the only time people feel burnt is if you come back to the city with the same material.
Yeah, absolutely.
But in terms of what you put on TV, I don't think people are mad. And I think there's also
the hour is a good format, because in England, certainly in the Edinburgh Fringe Festival, we're trained to write an hour of material every year, and certainly for myself, and I'll say this of other comics, you'll notice the best shows that win lots of awards and do very well are normally comics who've been on the circuit for 5 years, building up a wealth of material, and then they come in with a really strong hour. And then normally the follow-up is a little weaker.
Yep.
And most other comics, 40 minutes of the material is great.
Yep.
And 20 minutes is just fluff and filler.
Yeah, I think I did a half hour for Netflix that came out, the Comedians of the World thing, and from what I know, it's way more popular than Three Mics because it's better real estate.
Right.
New Year's Day.
Yeah.
And people don't have to choose to see me. They just choose to see Comedians of the World.
Yeah.
And I'm first in most of the English-speaking places. So that's been really helpful. And then so the half hour was like a sprint. I think the bigger issue is, because somebody was asking, why can these specials only be an hour? And I told them, because nothing happens. There's no plot. There's no evolution. There's no structure. You guys want to see me be glib for an hour?
Well, hang on a sec. Is that what you're speaking personally about, the shows, the 1 hour that you do, or
no? I did a Comedy Central, right? Yes, the more narrative ones. But I did one. Nanette, Birbiglia does them. Bo Burnham slightly, but there's never any content beyond
Colin Quinn stuff. Obviously, those are stories. I mean,
Collins are great with that. There's never any content beyond. For most people, it's just talking for an hour.
Sure. And you don't want to watch anyone do that.
I mean,
that's why this podcast episode is going to be 53 minutes.
Well, that's also because I have a hard out. But, yeah, like I don't want to see anyone talk for. I mean, I was talking to the great comedian named Jerry Seinfeld, and he was like, "We're talking about."
Did you just like Prince him? He just made him like Prince, the comedian formerly known as Jerry Seinfeld.
We were talking about doing half hours, and he goes, "The perfect set length, 5 minutes."
He said that.
Yeah. He's like, that's perfect.
Really?
Yeah. For TV, yes.
You agree?
I don't know if I agree or disagree. I know an hour is too long if you're not going to do anything plot wise or
5 minutes though, that's just like just wets your whistle of.
Yeah, well, and you want more. I mean, it's like, do you want a bottomless mimosas or you want one mimosa?
I mean, you're asking the wrong man.
I know, exactly.
That's why I don't
you
drink
want bottomless.
anymore.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You can't just have one. One's not
all the mimosas.
Yeah.
Spiked. Served by prostitutes.
There you go. You really flew close to the sun there, huh?
Oh, dude. Yeah. My heart stopped in Bestival 1 year from drinking drugs. Yeah. They resuscitated me and were
who was on the lineup?
You should that year, at Bestival that year. Little Dragon played, I know that. But they played kind of every year, for many years. So
where's Bestival?
Bestival was the Isle of Wight.
Got it.
It's the Isle of Wight Festival. So we did comedy up there. And this was actually when I was DJing, though. So it was back when I DJed before I even got into TV or comedy.
And your heart stopped.
Yeah. I went to the
CPR.
I knew something was really wrong. So
how did you know?
Because my heart was going. I was feeling my pulse and my heart. All the tents are closed. It was like the last of the last 10. Lots of drugs. Lots of drugs.
What drugs?
A lot of ketamine, a lot of cocaine, a lot of ecstasy.
I don't know how people do ketamine recreationally.
Whippets
are great.
A lot of weed. It was a bit of everything.
Yeah. Are people doing these in tents, or they're just doing them like on the like?
Oh yeah. You just fucking
everyone there is just doing drugs, and there's no supervision.
Yeah,
it's
not a children's camp. I mean,
no, I get it.
There's supervision.
Yeah, but drugs are still illegal.
Look, the people who are supervising, a lot of them are just, people from the local
guns.
area.
It's not a children's camp. They didn't fire a gun in the air.
People locally with they just get given an orange or yellow neon vest and they go, right, you're now security.
Yeah, exactly.
And they go, okay, and then they go inside and then they sell ecstasy to people who want to buy ecstasy. You know what I mean? Like your supervision is, do you have enough drugs on you right now? And if not, can I rectify that for you for money? Yeah. But yeah, I went to the first aid tent, and then my heart didn't stop for a long time, so they didn't actually perform CPR. They were checking me. The nurse was checking on me, and my heartbeat was going boom, 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 boom. It was fucked. Right. So I laid down. They put me on an intravenous to clear out some of the drugs from my bloodstream, and
just a regular drip or something else.
Yeah, regular drip, full of whatever was in it. I don't know. And then I woke up, I was like awake, and they were all standing around and they're going, blah, 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 and they were all panicking. And I was like, what? And they're like, oh, thank God. Sit up, blah, blah, blah. And they were talking to me and they were trying to keep me lucid and awake. And they were like, your heart stopped. And I'm like, all right, well, that's not good. And then they sent me back to my tent once they cleaned out, which is I sat there for about 5 or 6 hours. And then they sent me back, and it was about 8 in the morning at this time. And they sent me back to my campsite. And they were like, go back and sleep or go straight to the hospital. That's what we would do. But go home. Don't stay here. And I went, all right. So I went to the tent in the artist area, fell asleep, and then slept for 14 hours. And then I woke up, did a fat line of ketamine, and then got back into it. Embarrassing, but kind of fun. It's kind of fun. It will make a good story one day for an autobiography, right? If I don't die before I release it.
That's, fuck. But aren't you immobile on ketamine?
Nah.
Oh man,
you build up a tolerance to it incredibly quickly.
I did drips for depression, and I would just be catatonic.
So if you literally just have a tiny little key end when you first start, tiny little bump, that will get you fucked up. But then once you've been doing it for months, every day,
up in what way?
Okay, it's a hallucinogen. So you trip balls a bit, and you fucking spatial
but are
awareness
you
goes
walking around and all that shit.
Yeah, you can be, and if you do too much, then you will probably sit down in a corner or kind of go.
Yeah, that's what happened.
And
to me.
people will be like, "Oh, you're in a K-hole."
Yeah.
They'll worry about you, and you'll feel like it's hours of being in this weird lucid state that everything's breaking down and crumbling in on itself, and all of existence is a fabrication.
That's the one.
Yeah, and then you come out of that in 10 minutes, but you feel like it's been almost a lifetime. You know when those in movies or TV shows where someone gets transported to another dimension and they come back almost like a few minutes later, they're brought out of it, and they go, I was in there for 50 years. That's what a K-hole was like for me. Yeah, the really bad ones. But then we built up tolerance quickly. And then my friend died and gave it up. I can't imagine you being a regular crazy drug taker though back in the day.
Much in the way that you wouldn't have matched me and Dave Chapelle, I do love drugs. I love stimulants. So, but having said that, I only did coke once and it didn't really work. It was fine.
Yeah. Coke never makes anyone more fun though. It doesn't. I don't think it enhances any experience. All it does is sobers you up.
Interesting. I feel that way about alcohol. I've never been impressed by a drunk person. I've been like, this fucking guy.
It's hard being sober now. It's been 3 months, and I think there's
For you?
For me, yeah.
You've only been sober 3 months?
Well, I've given up. I'm not an alcoholic, but I've given up drink because I just found that I didn't like myself and I didn't like any other people drunk.
It's no one's better drunk.
No, they're not.
Now, your next thing is women are better
hang
drunk.
on. I was going to say, if you've gone to, if you've gone to like a 21-year-old's party when you were 21 and people were getting a bit drunk, it's quite fun to see, Sarah jumping on the table and,
showing her
She's
boobs.
fun, yeah.
Yes, but I don't, it's a good, lubricant for, especially women's sexuality, because they tend to worry more, and judge themselves more. So it just gives them, it lowers their inhibitions. But as guys, I'm never like, man, I'm glad. Like I told someone the other day, if Barack Obama was drunk, I'd be like, get this dude away from me. I just wouldn't want to deal with him. Like I'm not impressed.
I think he'd be really smooth drunk.
Of course he would.
Yeah.
He'd be like,
putting the moves on.
Motherfucker.
Stroking your forearm.
I decided not to do that bit in my act because I just don't want to do an Obama impression. And I just don't want to do an impression. But I do like stimulants. I love it. And
you ever tried microdosing? Because I think that's...
Yeah, I microdosed 4 days ago.
Really?
On
mushrooms?
Yeah. But the problem with me and microdosing is by the end of the day, I get a little spacey.
You do?
I don't really have anxiety. I have depression. So I need up.
And do you actually have like clinical depression?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's my whole Netflix.
Oh, that's why I've given up. I've given up booze as well. That's another reason. That's why I moved to LA for the sunshine and all these things that take away depression.
And has it helped?
Yeah, immensely.
Yeah.
Yeah, 2 years ago in New York at Christmas, I sat out and was like, all right, this is how I'm going to kill myself tonight. And I got too fucked up and passed out.
Great.
And woke up in a pool of vomit and on the floor. And I was like, oh, okay. Well, I guess I fucked that one up. I can't even kill myself properly.
What'd you try?
Oh, I didn't follow through. I got
too.
I was getting fucked up and I was sitting there and I was going, all right, this is how I'm going to do it, blah, blah, blah. And I passed out.
Great.
From drinking drugs. And then I was like, woke up and I went,
You were a sex addict also?
Nah, that was a documentary that was slightly, it would be like doing a documentary for TLC, an immersive doc for TLC. It was for BBC Three.
Right.
So it was a little bit fact-ent, it was a little bit entertainment in there as well.
Yeah, okay.
And I don't think I'm a sex addict because I found it very easy to, I'm with a girl now, monogamous and very happy, so I don't have issues there. Same with alcohol. I don't think I'm any addict. I'm not a drug or alcohol or sex addict. What I am is an addict to escapism. I hate myself, and depression makes me constantly want to escape reality. So I'll use whatever I can do to that. If I find that transcendental meditation is the thing that helps with that, I'd be a transcendental meditation addict for a while.
Yeah.
It's kind of that kind of thing. So what kind of honest steps did you have to take with yourself to go, well, this is how I can moderate this and make sure it doesn't affect my
ironically enough, transcendental meditation, but I've only been doing that for like 14 months, but it's great.
Yeah.
TM, I need less sleep, which is fucking odd. But
really?
Like an hour to an hour and a half less.
That makes sense because it's about generating energy inside of yourself, right? So
I guess nothing really ever works in terms of generating energy. In terms of depression,
let me bring you back to cocaine because
yeah, exactly. I take Zoloft for depression. That works really well. And what else do I take? And caffeine, stand up. I can't say that I've beat it, but I've never really wanted to kill myself. It's just a consistent low grade depression.
I mean, way to make me feel on my own.
And so if I tried, I would succeed.
Yeah,
because Neal Brennan doesn't fail.
How would you do it?
I don't think I would, but I don't know. If I really wanted to kill myself, I don't know, because I'm actually afraid of death. So I'm so much more afraid of death. I don't even want to entertain it.
Okay.
And I'm not even like it's superstitious.
Afraid of death? Why? Just in the very general, I don't want to die, I've got stuff to do?
Yeah, I want to die. I don't want to die because I'm of the mind that this is all there is. So
sure.
I don't want to end it prematurely. I want to live forever if I can.
Well, that'd be at odds because you obviously Irish Catholic upbringing.
Mm-hmm.
When did you decide actually there's nothing beyond this?
Well, I always suspected it. And then I finally just read like Christopher Hitchens' God Is Not Great book, and I was like, all right, that'll do it. Yeah. It's official.
I died at Bestival. Guess what? Not a lot happened in those few seconds. I don't remember anything.
Yeah, that's what I figured.
Yeah.
So I don't want to die, and mostly because my life's great, and like I don't want to go to. It's a bird in the hand.
Does that hold you back on experiences then? The idea that there's that fear inside of you
of death?
Yeah.
No, because I also am of the mind that death is pretty rare in terms of
like. You only get to generally do it once, right?
Well, yeah, but having said that, like your friend died on ketamine. Like sure. Most of the people I know die from either. Most people die from food. Honestly, most people I know have died from food or alcohol.
Yeah, diabetes, right?
Diabetes, strokes,
heart attacks,
fucking occasionally drugs, but mostly drinking. And most drug deaths are from drinking and drugs.
Yeah.
Most heroin overdoses are drinking or alcohol. And heroin,
you mix alcohol with any of those things.
Yeah. So I think the idea that when I take drugs, I don't, there is that I always say that people want to escape life so badly that they will risk death to get out of this level of consciousness.
Yeah, I've done that.
And the whole first half hour of taking any drugs, you're like, are you dying? I'm not dying. Are you dying yet? And you have to get through like this precipice of
first time you try something.
Yeah, but even then it's every dose is different. So you don't, you're a bit like, are you dying? Really I don't think I'm dying, but I don't, but we got to risk it. You got to roll the dice because it'll for 4 hours, it's going to fucking be so much better than life that you got to risk death.
Yeah.
Makes you miss it, doesn't it?
And you know what? I actually, I got to be honest. I do miss elements of that risk. I do
I'm
miss
sure.
elements of it, but I don't.
It's sexy.
I don't miss what it is. It.
Yes.
I feel like
yes.
It used to be. I don't think it is in today's culture. It used to be. It used to be really cool and really sexy, being a little bit edgy, a little bit edgy.
I still
right?
think debauchery is always going to be sexy.
Yeah.
Even in this like achievement oriented, fucking no days off culture.
Sure.
I still think getting fucked up. The Rock has his own tequila.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, if that's not a metaphor, I don't know what is. Your battery's running low. My battery. I gotta go too.
No worries. All right, we can wrap it there.
I wish we had more time.
No worries.
How long was it?
It was a good 40 minutes.
All right, that's not bad.
That's good.
Yeah.
Well, thanks, man.
That's a nice length for a podcast.
There you
right?
go. It's almost like
what did I tell you?
Better than a 1 hour special.
I'm happy to do this whenever you want, though. Now that you've got the rig,
Appreciate it. Yeah, we'll do
stop?
it another time. I'll come down here. I'm going to stop it. First, I'm going to say thanks very much. If people want to check you out, Neal Brennan across the board, and
Neal Brennan on the Instagram and the Twitter and I got a YouTube. I got a YouTube spot. No, I got a
plenty
Netflix
of Netflix specials as well.
Plenty of Netflix. I'm on the Daily Show sometimes. You can't miss me.
Can't miss him, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure you check him out. Thanks very much to our sponsors,
Thanks,
and thanks to you guys. Take care.
Good job, Pete.